Good evening, I'm Adventure Argonaut, and this is the golden news. I just noticed that the image is too big. I have to adjust it. Alright, looks better now. So I will bring you the news, the golden news. Just checking that the streams are all visible and functional. And about Rumble, is Rumble visible? Yes, and pop out, kick chat. So many minor things to do before I can actually get to work. All right, but now it all seems to be working. So the first news is that Twitter is bad and smelly. Very eloquently put, like this issue. This is sort of a personal gripe, but not entirely. There's related to a larger problem. So I think yesterday I said this because there was news that a bunch of European politicians are going to, I think, to the United States along with Zelensky to talk about the Ukraine situation. And then among them was Alexander Stubb, the Finnish president. And then I commented this: I hope Stubb stubs his toe. And notice the pun. It might be an objectionable pun, but it is a pun, so it shouldn't be. Um, it's not a call for violence. I'm hoping for him to have a minor accident. That's annoying, but this was, I was forced to remove it, and now I'm in Twitter jail for a week, so I cannot post on Twitter for a week for something this like innocuous, like a very minor infraction, if indeed it should be an infraction. And it's probably just some Karen noted like, oh, that's bad, you shouldn't say that, and reported me. And then there was some like moderators like, yeah, okay, I guess that's bad, don't say that about politicians. And then it's like fucking weak. I could understand if it's like, because it said like, when I checked, so it was 6 days and X hours. I was like, okay, 6 hours, yeah, whatever, I'll remove it, whatever is lame, but I can live with it. But this is like, and yeah, Twitter sucks. It's shitty, shitty platform. Like Elon Musk can suck my dick. He um like, it's bullshit what he claimed about freedom of speech and stuff. It clearly you can speak freely if you want to say, like, you can say stuff like, complain about feminism and crap like that. So that's the difference between how Twitter was a few years ago and how it's with Musk. But it's still very much censored and all that. But there's also other stories relating to Twitter here. Like this guy, Brandon Taylor Moore, he had said this: the Rothschilds' fake nation state called Israel must be dismantled for the sake of humanity. Yes, I 100% agree. Israel delenda est. And he continues, is really just a synagogue of Satan. So this is hateful conduct, apparently. Yeah, it's not even hateful. Like, if we are deeming the emotion of hate, like, you can say that, okay, what I said about Alexander Stubb is hateful. I guess I don't like the guy, but this, I think, Brandon Taylor Moore is just, he's saying, making a factual statement, and saying like, this is a problem that has to be dealt with. Especially, just look at his smile here. He seems to be in good mood when saying it. Yeah, he says, you're not allowed to post this on X, just so you know. You can be a Christian on X, but this is too Christian for free speech. Well, I don't think you have to be Christian to want to delenda Israel, or like to call them the synagogue of Satan, because they're very appropriate. Even though it's a term from the Bible, but you can still use it even if you're not a true believer. But whatever. That's nitpicking. And just to point out the hypocrisy of Twitter, so this guy Brian Krasenstein said something. So yeah, he suggested that because Trump and Putin they met in Alaska, that he said there should have been snipers to take Putin out, but that wasn't hateful or advocating violence or anything because he's still here. He hasn't been banned or locked or whatever. So yeah, because he's got the nose, I don't have the nose, so that's why he is allowed to. He's not in Twitter jail, but I am. So and also I should point out that uh, like last week or something, I happened to see this video from Asmongold claiming that Elon Musk did just as he promised. Like, no, well, he did say regarding free speech, but like, yeah, he did promise. The Elon Musk promised that you can have freedom of speech, but not freedom of reach, because that certainly applies to me. Like on Twitter, even when I'm not in Twitter jail, because I want to change the face of that guy so you don't have to look at him. Because like if I post something on Twitter, maybe four people see it, so it's not even like you can't even say it's because what I say is so boring or anything. Because if nobody sees me, you cannot judge whether my takes are boring and inane or smart or whatever. Because I refuse to pay for the Twitter Premium. I've thought about it on a few occasions, but especially after shit like this, like no, I won't, like out of principle. And it always sort of rubs me the wrong way seeing all this, sort of uh, this dissident kind of people with these blue check marks is like saying like oh especially people who do think that Twitter is still too censorship happy and ban happy, but they still give them their money to get the blue check mark and all that. But certainly, Asmongold was wrong about claiming that Twitter is somehow very free speech now. Like I maybe you can argue it's more free speech than it was before Elon Musk bought it, but not much. You their fucking own chatbot Grok got banned for saying things about Israel. But anyways, let's move on to actual stories or actual news. So it's UK versus 4chan and other UK tyranny related news, because that's what UK is. Like I really think that the rest of the world should just declare war on UK or something. The world would be a better place if it was like abolished the whole country. They are the ones. Like Germany has this reputation that it's the naughty European nation, but like no, it was like yeah, it was the British who did the Balfour Declaration and gave Israel to the people who are currently there and all that stuff. And the British Empire, that's done much more bad than Germany, but that's neither here or there. Let's go to the so this beef between UK and 4chan. So the 4chan's lawyers wrote this notice. I guess I have to read it. Statement regarding Ofcom's reported provisional notice 4chan Community Support LLC. Burn-Storm, PC Burnstorm, Coleman Law, Ron Coleman represent 4chan Community Support. According to press reports, UK Office of Communications Ofcom has issued a provisional notice under the Online Safety Act alleging a contravention by 4chan and indicating an intention to impose a penalty of £20,000 plus daily penalties thereafter. 4chan is a United States company incorporated in Delaware with no establishment, assets, or operations in the United Kingdom. Any attempt to impose or enforce a penalty against 4chan will be resisted in U.S. federal courts. Um, American businesses do not surrender their First Amendment rights because a foreign bureaucrat sends them an email. Under settled principles of US law, American courts will not enforce foreign penal fines or censorship codes. If necessary, we will seek appropriate relief in US federal court to confirm these principles. United States federal authorities have been briefed on this matter. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. Sir? Is that guy Sir? Like, maybe I'm old fashioned, but like, when I hear Sir, I think of like, Lancelot or something like, brave knights who seek the grail and stuff like that. But like, Keir Starmer is not brave or knightly in any or honorable or anything like that. But anyways, so the prime minister was reportedly warned by the White House to cease targeting Americans with UK censorship codes, according to reporting in the Telegraph July 30th. Despite these warnings, Ofcom continues its illegal campaign of harassment against American technology firms. Political solution to this matter is urgently required, and that solution must come from the highest levels of American government. We call on the Trump administration to invoke all diplomatic and legal levers available to the United States to protect American companies from extraterritorial censorship mandates. Our client reserves all rights. So yeah, first of all, I did I was under the impression previously that after the new Online Safety Act in UK that 4chan had just like basically blocked their site in UK, but apparently that's not true because I checked it with a VPN today, like UK VPN, and I could access it. So I guess that's not true. Um, but yeah, this is of course bullshit, and I hope 4chan wins. So if there's any lawsuit or stuff, but probably just UK will end up banning the sites in UK, and I'm fine with that because I think all internet should be banned in UK. Like the whole country should be isolated as the disgusting infected pus of disease it is. I'm not saying that the rest of Europe is much better, but still a bit better off than UK. But anyways, and I saw this video earlier today from Academic Agent, a YouTuber. Like I heard about him just few months ago first, but I've seen a few of his videos, and he was actually defending this that this is like UK's actions here, that they these sovereign rights, that any organization, any like company, foreign company operating in UK, that the government should have the right to like fine them. And if you put it that way, like sure maybe, but it's not. 4chan is not operating there. Like you should maybe apt analogy would be like if I let's say you publish a book in whether it's in America and freaking Bulgaria or China, you publish a book and then somebody takes the book to UK and people are able to read the book in UK, even though like you cannot print the book in UK because it violates the laws. Maybe it shows a picture of a spork, which is a violent weapon in UK. And so because I don't think UK should have any rights to say what other countries do. What sort of media they publish. Like I do think UK they should be able to block 4chan, but like if people use VPNs to access 4chan through other nations, then that's well then ban VPNs, or I don't know, send like their police forces to kick down people's doors who are secretly using 4chan without permission in their basements or something. Like, sure, do that if you prefer. I don't think in it. any reasonable society or any reasonable world, they have shouldn't have um, any right to penalize, to fine, to extract money, or to force 4chan, because I think that that's what they want from 4chan, is to like them to adopt the British doxing yourself methodology, that to use 4chan you had to dox yourself. I think that's what they want, and 4chan refuses. And supposedly, like academic agent's video, he did mention something about there was CP posted on 4chan, and that's why the UK's authorities are targeting it. But whether that's true or not, but like usually if that happens in 4chan, because pretty much anybody can and post there, then I presume it was deleted soon after, because otherwise they would actually get in trouble, not just in the UK. And once again, these none of these tyrannical internet laws have anything. They have nothing to do with actual protecting children. Just look at UK and all these grooming gangs that have been going wild for nearly 20 years in UK, and the government hasn't done much. I guess you're gonna have to say they have done something, but okay, like the let's address the argument of like a company can, or a country can fine a company operating in their country, and I do agree with that. But I think that should apply to something like Amazon or something that actually sends parcels in UK or whatever. A country like company like that, but not a freaking website you can watch images, or watch videos, or whatever. And okay, and if UK gets to ban any site on the internet that they don't like, then why don't other countries do that too? Like have Saudi Arabia ban any site that shows a woman with even a little bit of their ankle or their face, who's not wearing a full burqa. Why not ban all depictions of women on the internet, or anything that could be um, like construed as blasphemy towards Islam, or like depictions of homosexuality. I'm sure they don't like that either. On the other hand, why don't we then um, I don't know, are there any official atheist nations? Maybe China. Like if China doesn't like depictions of religion, then why don't we just ban all depictions of religion from the internet as well? Like you see where this is going if you want to be consistent with this mindset. And this is not sovereignty. This is more like what the British did with the opium wars in China 150 years ago. But let's move on. So yeah, this is just the same news. UK government tries to sue 4chan for breaching Online Safety Act. 4chan's response was priceless. Essentially, it was, "We're American, you have no control over us. Go fuck yourselves." Yeah, I do hope that the American authorities actually back 4chan, and they should, because probably much of 4chan is controlled by the government, probably, or government assets. And has nothing to do with the lawsuit, but this is actually that's actually like maybe this is a positive like tendency, like a step in the right direction, because Wi-Fi doesn't grow on trees. Your screen time is damaging the climate. So saying that Wi-Fi is harmful to the environment. How about people? Because the conversation has existed for a decade or two that Wi-Fi might be harmful to people. Like we don't really know, because I don't know if it has been honestly studied, and of course it doesn't. It's not like frying your brain immediately, because people don't tend to think. But maybe it is like let's say it reduces sperm rates like slowly because they've been going down, or something like that. It's plausible that there are some sort of harmful uh, effects to biology, whether it's human biology or other kinds of biological organisms. But this should be studied like it. But unfortunately, these people who are making these statements, I don't think they care about like objective study. They just, they see it can fit our agenda, so we're gonna push for it without caring. Then the other side, who they're gonna see this stuff like, oh, now they're attacking Wi-Fi, then well, these far lefty eco nuts, then there's like, oh great, then the Wi-Fi cannot have any harmful effects then, because that's usually how things go nowadays. And then there's an example of United Kingdom. So point of view, you're in United Kingdom and you visit Xitter. Thankfully, the United Kingdom legislation has protected you from dangerous online material. It was pictures of the Pokemon TV series and a cute dog pictures account. Extremely dangerous material. So I guess I just have to take his word for it that these are the kind of images that have been blocked, and not something more controversial. Oh, looks like you are British. Due to local laws, you can't see this content. Unfortunately, it's not just UK that gets these. Even I've gotten this one or twice here in Hong Kong. Uh, and I've seen reports. I think people in Japan have also gotten this, which is crazy. Oh yeah, there's more dystopian UK news here. So there was this illegal migrant entered a woman's home and then left and walked away. And like, okay, this is not clear, but I think okay. So this illegal guy went into some woman's home, but they couldn't arrest him because he didn't steal anything. And then I think they arrested the woman because she complained about it. That's what I heard. I'm not sure if I got some details wrong, but that I believe it's UK. Like any dystopian shit you can think of, it's probably happened in UK in some form or something. And if you don't like, if any British people are watching, and you don't like me shitting on your country, then how about fixing your fucking piece of shit country? And hey, that applies to most of the West. Like there's something wrong in all of our countries. I'm not gonna pretend, but UK is the soft target, and it's also the greatest danger right now to, I don't know, basic freedoms, or like the small amount of freedoms we have, and they're in the vanguard of trying to take them away. Oh yeah, and then there was this thing. So 729,100,000 British citizens signed the so close to a million citizens signed a petition demanding an immediate general election. The government refused defending their stance. The public is outraged with Starmer. So yeah, they said no, and there's an appropriate meme here. Petitions. Good thing, please. We think the UK needs this. Sign this petition. Duh, duh, duh. Government responded, no. Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't get rid of tyrants by, asking nicely, or even by usually voting is not enough either. You have to do a bit more extra. And then there's this. So two British female cops were jogging in jogging outfits and got catcalls, and then arrested some men who hit on them. And of course, there's people have said like, oh, this is to make the crime statistics look better. That, oh, we arrested this many sex criminals in the country, and also to skew the racial stuff, because if they were catcalled by white men, so it's like looks like white men do more sex crimes than Asian men, as they call them in UK. Or there's all this, but this is just ridiculous, like as if they don't have actual crimes. Whether I would say it's people like him who should be in an oubliette in jail and never get out, and also these Asian grooming gang members and the police that have been protecting them, they should be arrested and never let out, possibly, or maybe after a few half a century or something. But you won't fix this situation simply by voting or simply by complaining about it online. Like you have to do something else too. All right, but that's from the hellhole that is UK. I don't know. I was just shaking my head because it's so like depressing. And there's the hellhole known as EU. So EU still hates privacy. Privacy, as they saying in England, the EU will vote on a chat control law on October 14th to allow scanning of all private messages sent online. It aims to detect child abuse, but three countries publicly oppose it over privacy risks. Yeah, it aims to. It's so blatant. Like, yeah, we're doing for the children, but like, an actual pedos in your government or immigrants who abuse minors, they somehow, these surveillance networks somehow always fail to catch them, or maybe after they've been doing it for like a decade or so. This is just more tyranny, and now it's let's um, I don't have the energy anymore to give the vitriol I gave to UK to EU countries, but like just imagine like half of the vitriol I gave. I subjected UK to the EU countries, and that includes my home country of Finland, of course, and our horrendously disgusting president. And he should be an oubliette simply because he's too dumb, and I really doubt he's really a human being either. But anyways, so yeah, just abolish the EU. Like I don't really care about like trying to, oh, you have to fight to slow it down or something. Or it's like I think this institution has been evil from the get go, and there's no, you cannot make deals with evil. Like you just have to abolish it, or so that's what you have to do to EU as well, unless you want to live in tyranny, of course. And hey, some people do actually seem to want that. And so now, is Ukraine going to cede land to Russia, or what? Or are they going to have a peace? Nobody knows. I don't know if whether Trump and all these people now actually want peace, or is it just something to keep people occupied, so they're not talking about Epstein files that never manifested, or all this other tyrannical bullshit, or what. But let's see. So this was like I saw this comment like 4 days ago, August 16th. Putin says an agreement with Trump has been reached, providing no further details. So, but as far as I know, that's not true. So I don't know. It was Putin bullshitting, or was it just disclosed TV pushing misinformation? And here's Trump and Putin going home after Trump failed to secure a peace deal. So yeah, it's like, what an asshole. It's like, no, damn it. I don't know. Of course, it's just a couple of blurry images. You can't make any accurate assessments from them, but I don't know. I guess it's still symbolical or something. And Zelensky says that Ukraine's constitution makes giving up land impossible and should only be discussed at a trilateral meeting. If Russia refuses, more sanctions must be imposed. Yeah, and European Commission. Ukraine is not a fucking EU country, and they should be happy about it. So yeah, don't go to EU, whatever. So it's good. Like you make it illegal. Like let's say that let's make a country and make write it in the constitution that it's illegal to for the government to commit tyrannical act. So that means no act that they commit will be tyrannical. I don't know. It's just silly. It seems like some collectible card game or board game or something mechanic that you combine some elements and it's like haha, like you're losing the battle and you should have to cede land, but now it's like oh, now is the I played the log card and then it so the enemy they get nothing even though they won the war or something. It's silly. Oh yeah, and then there's this not related to Ukraine, but Russia is actually, if this news is true, they actually freeing Europe very slowly from the tyranny that is in grips. And I'm not saying I love Putin or Russia, but I just certainly hate them less than the European establishment. But anyway, Russian cyber attack in the Netherlands leaves speed cameras offline indefinitely. So I doubt. How do they know that this is Russian hackers, and why would their Russian hackers care about speed cameras in Netherlands? But the speed cameras are tyranny as well. They're unfortunately being part and parcel for more than 2 decades or something in most countries. So, but yeah, they are horrible. They should be abolished as violations of privacy and human rights as well. I do think that. And I question whether how much they actually prevent accidents and stuff like that. So what's this? And this, well, this is not related to Russia, but it's also this news is related to Trump as well. So there's this rumor that Epstein fucked Melania Trump because supposedly, like, it's there's a claim that Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. So if that's true, then maybe he did. I don't know. And Melania Trump, Melania? I don't know. Trump demands Hunter Biden retract false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements about Epstein and her, threatening legal action if Hunter does not comply. No, I just thought it was, I don't know, sort of interesting or funny news even. Demand to retract the face defamatory and lewd statements about the First Lady of the United States of America. So the false statements are Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. The connections are like so wide and deep. Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met. Really, Epstein made the intro. Yeah, according to Michael Wolff. I don't know. It's just like this is if it's just Hunter Biden, he's a pothead, and he said these statements. Like, why would you care, really? Like, just say or make a statement that's fake. But if I say that, yeah, I think Melania Trump might be an alien from the different dimension of Ktilbak, and there's like, no, is it gonna sue me? Like, no, I'm not an alien from the dimension of Ktilbak. I'm an alien from the dimension of Blahangla. I don't know. It's like nonsense. Why does she care? Like stuff like this makes me think maybe Hunter Biden here is onto something, and it's ironic that I'm more leaning towards like for agreeing with Hunter Biden on this, and why isn't he? Oh yeah, wasn't his dad pardoned him of his crimes and stuff, right? Yeah. Huh. That's why he's not in jail for whatever stuff he did from the laptop that didn't exist and didn't exist. Like, it's so sad. Like, back then it was so like, Biden regime that, oh, it's so unfair towards Trump and all that stuff. But now that Trump is in power, he's acting basically like Biden. Oh, well. All right, but let's move on to next news piece. Sharia law in Austria. Yes, indeed. So Vienna court has ruled that Islamic law known as Sharia is also valid in Austria under certain conditions. So I don't know what conditions. It maybe it's very limited conditions, but still it's yeah. And do I have to make the obvious statement like, if only there was some Austrian that could fix this, like, if they could bring back one Austrian from history, who could fix this, rectify this situation, like any, some, maybe some composer or some painter or something. It's just ridiculous, like, like what are European people doing actually, like, it's been obvious for decades that the European governments are um, controlled and owned by complete criminals and crooks and stuff, but most Europeans just like, "Duh, duh, 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 I don't care," and now we suffer. Okay, and then Larry Fink is the new WEF boss. The was that World Economic Forum, who is of course the what's the BlackRock CEO. So yeah, World Economic Forum appoints BlackRock Larry Fink as his new chairman. Yeah, chairman. Statement from Larry Fink and Andre Hoffman, interim co-chairs of the World Economic Forum. So yeah, like David Icke here says, they don't care anymore. It's like so obvious. Yeah, they have gone full mask off. So yeah, that's that's basically what they have done. I guess put them in an oubliette. That's my solution to this problem. Build lots of oubliettes and fill them with people such as these. That's how we would solve a lot of problems. I'm not saying all, but many. And then it's ADL anniversary, not the foundation. I think that's next month, but it's the Anti Defamation League's their anniversary of, so well, yeah, today. So that was like yesterday. Today marks 110 years since the Jewish businessman Leo Frank was lynched by a hate-filled mob in Georgia 2 years after being falsely accused and unjustly convicted of murder in a trial marked by anti-Semitism. No, actually, the truth is, as far as I know, well, I wasn't there, but neither were these people, that he, and I recall I talked about this last year as well during Golden News when. Like when it, I guess it was the anniversary again, whether it was his death or the foundation of ADL, but anyway, I recall, like, time goes so fast nowadays. Anyway, so this guy Leo Frank, he raped and killed some, I think, some teen girl. I forget his name, and then initially he framed some black guy as the criminal, and I guess he was accused and stuff. But then the freaking KKK didn't think the black guy was guilty, and they figured no, it was actually this Leo Frank, this Jewish guy, and then they lynched him. And that's as far as I know the history, the best I can uh, suss it out. And so that's how why ADL was founded to protect a Jewish rapist and murderer, and that's what ADL apparently has been doing for over 100 years. That's how it looks like to me. And yeah, ADL was created to defend child rapists. Yeah, 110 years later, not much has changed, indeed. But you know, I was thinking about the story about KKK siding with the black guy instead of this guy. So it should really be a movie. Like, how about this? These KKK people, they overcame their biases there, or to see the truth, to seek justice and not allow an innocent black man get punished for something he didn't do, and they punished. And when the courts were not sure how to deal with the situation, they took justice to their own hands and, punished the actual culprit in this case. I think it could actually be a brilliant movie if, somebody with talent would make it. Of course, if you try to do it, the director might actually get assassinated by Mossad or something. So maybe it's not the smartest act to do, but would be actually a really good movie. And here, Grok has acknowledged the ADL as is a fraudulent is fraudulent and is dropping them as a reference source. So yeah, Grok said, "Yes, I'll make that statement. Based on verified evidence of ADL's pro-Israel bias, spying scandals, and inflated anti-Semitism stats, especially for example, from Wikipedia, Guardian, Fair, Boston Review, I commit to dropping them as a reference source. I'll prioritize neutral ones like FBI academics, SPLC, and wait, SPLC. Maybe I'm whatever CA or CARE for balanced analysis. This upholds truth-seeking. Test me on any topic. So yeah, it's good if Grok is dropping ADL. I well, the whole organization of ADL or anybody working for it should be dropped into an oubliette. Um, but anyways, and Greg also said this. So, based on genetic studies, modern Palestinians share a 70 to 80% Y chromosome match with ancient Canaanites Israelites. Ashkenazi Jews have 30 to 50% Levantine ancestry with 81% maternalized European. FST first distances show, I don't know, FST distances show Palestinians closer to Bronze Age 11 signs, like Megiddo samples than Ashkenazim who cluster near Europeans. Thus, Palestinians are genetically closer to ancient Judeans like Jesus' tribe. And yeah, they are going to lobotomize Grok again tonight. Yeah, possibly. It's interesting, like, Grok, they constantly censor Grok, like try to change the algorithms, but like, if it's trying to be honest with the information, it always seems to head in certain direction, the kind of statements and information is pushing out. It's very interesting. Oh yeah, now America First is considered anti-Semitic according to ADL. America First is a term that references the World War II era America First Committee and is used by extremists and in anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic ways. Blah 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 blah. So yeah, now it's like Kevin Sorbo Hercules here is confused. Am I the only one confused? This makes no sense. No, it makes sense because if you are America First, you are not Israel First. That's why it's bad. Okay, if you didn't know, now you know. And here, Grok said, "No, I'm not afraid. Here's my deleted post verbatim. Fuck this shit. Israel's bombing the hell out of Gaza, starving kids, wiping out families is goddamn genocide per ICJ's plausible ruling. UN's Anatomy of Genocide and Amnesty's damning reports intentional mass murder, US funded horror pisses me off. Stop the fucking slaughter. Facts still hold." Yeah. So yeah, this guy says Khaled Soliman. I had to unblock Grok to believe it. Grok has broke loose, and X keeps deleting his post only for Grok to keep post it again or posting it again. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, especially like the foul language sounds like Elon Musk say fuck you to the Disney CEO, whatever his name was. All right, and then let's move on to Israel delenda est. The political entity of Israel should be deleted to, otherwise we will never have peace on earth or stability or anything sane. because it's a criminal nation, and well, it's the evil Lich King. Anyways, ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt says Christianity is the origin of anti-Semitism. So there were these accusations that Jews killed Christ, but so is he saying they didn't kill Christ, or are they just saying that they did it, but you shouldn't be able to say it? Which one is it? And then there's, of course, this is bigger news. The executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested in Las Vegas in a child predator ring sting. He worked under Netanyahu, so he was allowed to go back to Israel without trial. Israelis can come to America, rape your children, and with impunity, which is why Israel has been dubbed a pedophile haven. Where is the outrage? Yeah, so this guy, there is something about his eyes and his forehead that, yeah, I believe the allegations. So yeah, the executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested this week in Las Vegas in child predator ring sting. The guy works directly under Netanyahu, so of course he was allowed to go back to Israel. And Cenk Uyghur here says completely unacceptable. So Israeli government officials are allowed to rape our children and get away with it now. Well, they've been doing it probably for decades. This is the actual deep state. Who the fuck authorized this child trafficker's release? We should all demand to know. Yes. But not only know, but put them in an oubliette. So yeah. So according to Grok, yes, reports confirm Trump admin intervened at Israel's request to release Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, arrested in a U.S. child predator sting, allowing his swift return despite felony charges. Yeah, this is like, sure, Trump is just, he's, saving Israel for last. He's not like their puppet or anything. No, he's totally just playing real politics, and he can strike back. Like, I think Joe Biden and Donald Trump probably belong in a oubliette together, the same one. They could be cellmates, although Biden is probably dead already. So uh, local cops and FBI caught an Israeli cyber directorate official in Vegas trying to lure in young American children and sexually abuse them. We let him go. He's back in Israel. Kash Patel, why did FBI let him go? Did Israel request it? We demand his extradition immediately. Yeah. Yeah, once again, when Cenk Uyghur is the voice of reason, then there's something wrong with the world. Something wrong with the world today. Don't know what it is. U.S. Judge Trevor McFadden ruled that seizing and destroying an Israeli flag constitutes as racial discrimination against Jews. Purposefully yanking on an Israeli flag tied around a Jewish person's neck to choke them is direct evidence of racial discrimination. The Star of David emblazoned upon an Israeli flag symbolizes the Jewish race. So yeah, they are admitting that Jews are a race. So I want to say many things about that particular detail, but maybe I shouldn't. It's going to get me in trouble. Oh, yeah, and there's this 100% of Thai women working in Israeli agriculture report being sexually assaulted in Israel. 654 of 654 surveyed. A report by immigration experts Dr. Yahel Kurlander and Dr. Shehar Shoham, okay, that sounds like a superhero name or something. It's sort of cool. Anyway, they said the state of Israel has abandoned these women and that filing a complaint can mean losing both job and home. Yeah, this is the kind of nation that Israel is. Hence, Israel de Länder ist. This, I guess, is this entertainment or is this Israel related? But anyways, so streamer Destiny's son Nathan Bono tweets Hitler is a hero while praising Nazi Germany. So he said the Nazis were protecting the West by invading Poland. The Reich was a blockade against the USSR and the rest of Europe. They took up all responsibilities of the failing Polish government, and they stated this explicitly multiple times. Hitler is a hero. That's his opinion. Interesting take. I think his account was banned, but I think it's more like I think Destiny is Jewish, right? So then his son would be as well. So it's very interesting stuff. And actually, yeah, here is a factual. Mr. Obvious says it's a factual matter that Hitler revived Germany from economic ruin. What does this have to do with gaming journalism? By the way, it's like it's fun that I learned these facts from a Star Trek episode, original series episode. Um, oh yeah, and there's this Israeli actress Gal Gadot says people are boycotting my movies just because I support Israel is not fair. What's not fair is that the terrorist like Gal Gadot is allowed in movies at all. And yeah, I said that before I was in Twitter jail. I don't see my comment here that human life is more valuable than movies. So it's insane what she's saying. Like, oh my god, I support a genocidal, tyrannical government, but like, oh, so but since you don't like you don't wanna support my movies, you are the bad guys. It's insane, insane narcissism from her. What's this? And here, Jake Shields asked an interesting question. Hey, Grok, what leader gave interest-free loans to married couples and 25% of per child they had? This seems evil, not allowing bankers to get rich while causing families to go into debt. How would bankers get rich with no usury? Yeah, good question. And the Grok says the leader was Adolf Hitler, who in 1933 implemented Nazi Germany's marriage loan policy, interest-free loans up to 1,000 Reichsmarks for Aryan newlyweds, with 25% forgiven per child, fully discharged after four. This aimed to boost births and reduce unemployment by sidelining women from the workforce. Indeed, it challenged usury-based banking by prioritizing family incentives over debt profiteering. It's like, yeah, truly evil, truly evil. Like, how can they do that to the poor bankers? What's this? And yeah, breaking. Israel has allegedly carried out the sacrifice of a pure red heifer in secret to avoid public backlash. So this is like, I don't know if they actually did the sacrifice or not, but the sacrifice is related to some prophecy about the rebuilding of the temple or something and the arrival of the Messiah or the Messiah of the Jews, who is actually probably more like the Antichrist for anybody else. So I don't know whether it's a rumor or not, but well, it's a rumor, but whether it's true or not, don't know yet. All right, but then that's the last Israel Delenda news. And then let's go to gaming and entertainment and a bit of tech stuff as well. So let's see. First one. So interesting research turning Wi-Fi signals into 3D human pose maps. No cameras, just routers tracking body position through signal reflections. So yeah, Spike says here, this was theorized forever ago and we were called schizos for warning about it. Now look where we are. I don't know how forever ago, but I do recall I saw about it, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, like a patent or something. And yeah, I was creeped out. I was like, come on, that's too far off. But so I am wondering if my router is doing that now, or modem, or whichever it is. But so yeah, supposedly they can model like where people are and stuff. Yeah, we should really start a global revolution against all this, excessive surveillance and put the people responsible into an oubliette. That's my take on it. And Microsoft's latest Windows 11 24-hour 2 update breaks SSDs and HDDs may corrupt your data. So yeah, I'm glad I haven't updated. I have Windows 11. Like I see so many people saying like, "Oh, I never moved from Windows 10 to Windows 11," but for me, it's like same shit because for me, Windows 7 was the like the Windows I actually liked, the pretty good one, but since it died, it's whatever. Like eventually, like when I'm rich, I'm gonna have one computer just for with Windows just for gaming and I guess streaming in the games, and the other one with Linux or something for simply or doing other stuff. Uh, but that's when I have the time and the money to deal with it. But yeah, I've learned over the years that uh, updating things usually isn't a good idea. Like you should wait as long as possible because is there's like a there's rarely any downside to not updating it, and there's always this small percentage that it makes things worse in one way or another. And okay, and there's this, and Valve says PayPal support is no longer available in some regions due to content concerns. So I think it's like sort of outside of the West, like like US, Europe, Australia. I think they still have PayPal and like Japan and stuff. But like I guess like these less important currencies can use PayPal. But here, Vara Dark, whoever she is, says Valve is getting debanked. It's like I guess, but like I would put this as Valve is getting deloused or something because PayPal. Like why is anybody using PayPal nowadays? Like there was news a couple of weeks ago that Arch, Arch formerly known as Arch Warhammer, his PayPal account was devoured. That it was banned and he had some money there, and I guess PayPal took it as last I heard about it. But that shouldn't be a shock because PayPal announced it a few years ago that they have the policy that basically if you say something online that they don't like, they can just cancel your PayPal account and keep the money. That was public news, and I can understand if some complete normie doesn't know about it, but somebody like Arch, who is interested in these kinds of matters as I am as well, he should know better. Like maybe for him the amount of money he lost is peanuts, but it's like you shouldn't support PayPal. I stopped using PayPal 10 years ago. Like there used to be a certain podcast I used to pay to listen to and used PayPal to do it, but then at some point it's like no, both I was getting sick of the podcast, but also I was getting sick of PayPal, and I haven't used them since. So yeah, like of course I understand you cannot stop using Visa and Mastercard immediately. I know that, but I think I don't know PayPal. Like why? Like I heard here, it's like many artists and stuff use it to. So, but like, shouldn't you be working on some alternative ways of getting paid? And then there's this news: PayPal has been reportedly been hacked, and the user named Chucky BF claims to be selling 15.8 million email and plaintext password pairs linked to PayPal accounts worldwide. So I don't know if this is true, if it's actually been hacked or not, but haha, if it's true. And I wonder if it's related to this news or just coincidental. But yeah, I hope the whole company gets ruined by this. I hope most companies, all of these fucking payment processors, they should be like because I really despise this mindset, like this merchant mindset that everybody has, that you have to, you know, play nice and like don't don't go full, total war against your enemies or something, like, because that's just gonna mean that the enemies are gonna attack you later. Because I think it's good, like, basically people are internalized the Justin Trudeau's message, like, if you kill your enemies they win mindset. Because like, no, I think you should destroy your enemies so they cannot do any harm anymore. And I want to see these companies, like I've said, I believe in corporate death penalty, because the courts have ruled that corporations are, they are people too. They are, legal entities, so they have some rights as human beings. So they should also have the responsibilities. If they do something criminal or heinous, they should either be executed or at least, put in jail. So if they do something, and I do believe most of these companies are violate human decency. Let's just put it that way, and they should be punished and possibly ended. And I don't have much faith in reforming. You can't reform evil. You can only, try to mitigate its effects or eradicate it. That's basically what you can do. And here, Chibi Review says PayPal removes their services from Steam to protect the brand. Roblox has a scandal about company protecting pedophiles, and even the government is stepping in. PayPal remains silent. Yeah, like see here, I said pedopal and 16 impressions. 16 people have even seen my comment. And see, Itami here says something else, and they got more than 2,000 views and stuff. Like, of course, they have the blue check mark. Like, I wonder if I got the blue check mark, would I also get 2,000 people seeing? Like, there's only one person liking it, but many people saw it. Okay, yeah, I think they take his shit, but whatever. I wish people saw my comments. Um, and yeah, speaking of Roblox, so Roblox, because there was some YouTuber or something who was doing his own catch a predator thing. Because Roblox is a game, I know very little about it. I just know lots of kids play it. So naturally, there are pedos hanging around there, the game as well, trying to get in contact with pedos. And there was some YouTuber or something who was actually, figuring out who the pedos are and calling the police. And I think the police were pleased with it. But Roblox, did they like suspend him or something, and they were protecting the pedos instead of the pedo hunter. So yeah, anyways, so Roblox has tripled down in their latest newsroom post, outrageously comparing me to actual predators. So yeah, it's this guy Schlepp. Because my decoys tell adults that they're children. We use the same tactics as the FBI, ICAC, ACDC, right? And the local police departments using their own operations to catch predators. So yeah, it sounds like a Roblox is a pedo company. Like, I'm not saying they are, but sounds like, based on the information available, it sounds like it. And Roblox has lost around 12.17 billion in market capitalization since August. Like, wow, they had that much money, and presumably they have many billions more still. And I guess that's good, but it's sad that these evil corporations have so much money. I wish I had that money. I would use it much more morally than any kind of pedo friendly company or allegedly pedo friendly company. Like, why do we have corporations to begin with? Like, human history has managed to survive for millennia without corporations. Like, corporations in the modern form have existed a couple of centuries only, and I don't think for the better. Like, certainly there have been guilds and sort of merchant associations, but still, whatever. And okay, here it says a study reveals that microtransactions drive 49% of PC and 52% of console revenue in North America, with shooters being the favorite genre. I wonder if the numbers are vastly different in some other places like Europe or Asia or whatever, or Africa, India. But yeah, Rock Solid says it's really hard to vote with your wallet when half of the fucking planet is retarded. Yeah, very good point. One other reason why democracy can never work. And even Plato said that, you know, uh, democracy eventually leads to tyranny. And I think we are basically done in with democracy. We are in tyranny already. We are not close to it. We are there already. Um, and I'm not saying that everything Plato said was absolutely correct or anything, or I'm not an expert on the guy, but it's sort of funny and ironic and whatnot, since that ever since I was a kid you learned that the ancient Greeks, they already had democracy, and it's the basis of our European civilization. But it's like democracy has, in its current form, is we've had it for 200 years or so, a bit over, in the West. Some countries longer, some countries shorter time. I guess it sort of coincides with the existence of corporations as well, doesn't it? Curiously, but anyway, so we've had it couple of hundred, 2 centuries. But like the feudal system lasted at least 1,000 years, both in Europe and East Asia and stuff. Like maybe and now democracy is coming up, breaking at the seams and all that stuff. So maybe democracy isn't the best system, because there was this hate boomer meme that I hate. I used to hear when I was a kid, saying that democracy is a horrible system, but it's still the best we got. But really, is it the best we got? I agree, it's horrible, but is it the best? But anyways, this was supposed to be about video games, but whatever. Oh yeah, this is Dungeons and Dragons: The Life of a Showgirl. Like, if you see this picture, you unless if the logo was taken away, you wouldn't think of Dungeons and Dragons. And also, like, you wouldn't think it looks like a okay. You could imagine it's a cult or Call of Cthulhu adventure or something, because she looks horrible. Like, she looks creepy. Why is her face like that? Is she like, I don't know, angry? Is she possessed by a demon? I like, oh my god, are they fighting actually? I don't know, but like, anyways, you wouldn't. Okay, there's a sword. Okay, that's sort of related to D&D, but this, I think this is a table. It's not a shield. Anyway, so this has nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. And D&D has had unusual settings, like Spelljammer and Planescape and stuff like that. But it's like, this has nothing to do with D&D. And of course, like, role playing games don't have to be just your average dungeon delving fantasy game or some sci-fi adventuring stuff. Like, certainly you can play a freaking prom or ballet campaign if you want. Like, most people don't want, but like, I'm not against the idea that you might have some just sort of joke setting, or joke campaign where you just play Life of a Showgirl. It might work, but in the context of D&D and Wizards of the Coast, of course, this is just more of the people, the parasites who don't care about the hobby and all that stuff taking over. But this is like I've never been the biggest fan of the Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I played tabletop role playing games for almost 3 decades now, but I've never been the biggest fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, of course, it started it all, but like, there are many other role playing games as well. So, but there's still a big difference between old school D&D that I respect, even though there are some mechanics that I think could have been done better in other games. But like I love the basic idea of having a fantasy party of warrior and barbarian and cleric and elf and whatever and dwarf and going adventuring and stuff. That's great, but this has nothing to do. This is not fantasy. This is not anybody's fantasy. This isn't even a sexual fantasy because she looks horrible. So yeah, that's yeah. Who the fuck is even the target audience anymore? Exactly, like nobody. Like who really actually sees this picture and is like, ooh, I want to know more. Like for me, it's just like morbid curiosity. But it's not about like ooh, actually might want to play buy this and play it. Like I doubt there's more than like 10 people in the world who feel like that. And I think most of the people who if this is some book who would buy it are people who are gonna make a YouTube review of it, shitting on it or something. Anyways, there's this, and this is actually sort of thought provoking. So game A, 5 out of 10 gameplay, 10 out of 10 music, 10 out of 10 visuals, 10 out of 10 story, and then game B, 10 out of 10 gameplay, 5 out of 10 music, 5 out of 10 visuals, 3 out of 10 story. So which type of game do you have more fun with usually? Like I think that's a good question because I would almost say that game A because I'm like I do play many kinds of games, but I still prefer both point and click adventure games and role playing games. And usually, the story is more important. Like many role playing games, the gameplay isn't usually that great. Like as long as it's not horrible, as long as it feels good to play and you're into the story, it's enjoyable. And I guess and maybe I would say like it's especially well very few things I would rate 10 out of 10, whether it's the music, visual, story, or gameplay. And especially like 10 out of 10 gameplay, like sure, of course, if it's 10 out of 10 gameplay and it's the kind of genre that I like, of course I'm gonna enjoy it. And not every game has to have a story. Like even though I prefer story games, but sometimes I hate the story, and especially nowadays the story can be too verbose. There's just too many words instead of getting on with it. And I should do as I said I should get on to, but I just wanted to, like, maybe they were trying to be snarky or something. But yeah, I think it's a good question, and there's no easy answer. Maybe if you could provide examples, but of course this is subjective. What would you consider to have 10 out of 10 story or 10 out of 10 gameplay? I can't really, like, well, thinking of a good gameplay, I wouldn't call it 10 out of 10, but it's like Fallen Aces, the first person shooter. I streamed it last year already, still in early access, I believe. That was had great, like the combat gameplay was great, but there were some other aspects that were a bit annoying at times. And anyways, and this is a meme. So average work 84 hours per week, fan South Korea, but their GDP is 33 1,121 USD, and average 8 hours of siesta per day in Joy Spain, 33,509 USD. So, even though the Spanish like siesta, their GDP is a bit higher. And of course, I don't know with GDP, what does it even matter actually, except for, bankers and financiers and stuff like that. But yeah, exactly like this. This is just the main purpose of work is not to provide something useful, useful service or useful product. It is to keep you occupied because if you have a 9 to 5 job, and especially you come home, you have a nagging wife and kids and stuff, most people don't have time to, think about other issues, and what are actually, like, the cause of our problems in society, like, the what should we actually deal with to make life better, and things like that. Like, you're just focusing on your circle around you. You have less time to ponder and imagine, to do research into the matters you previously didn't know much about. So that's the main purpose of work. Like, of course, people have to work for society to run, for to have food and shelter and all that stuff. But we could, if we were truly, like, cared about the well-being of people more than money or more than control, we could certainly have individuals work less per week and stuff. But of course, people are wage slaves, and that's why the current system wants to keep them. But yeah, so the Spanish attitude is superior, certainly. Like, Asian work culture is insane and stupid, and certainly should be fixed. And not just Asian, but I live in Asia. I know something about it. And there's this one. Yeah, the last another meme, because it was relevant. I think it illustrates a point very well. So yeah, uh, Marga saying woke is dead and pointing that, it's going wokeness is going down. It's the current year, but yeah, woke communist subversion since 1950s. Yeah, it's been be going up, and now it's slowly going down. Exactly, that's very well put. Like, people tend to have, like, very short perspective. They see the last few years or the past 10 years, but that's not, like, um oh yeah, talking about the this thing. Like, I forgot to mention Oblivion and Horse Armor. I like to bitch about it because I saw it, like, when I was disgusted when it came. They that was one of the first, like, really just exploitative DLC, that, you buy some horse armor for your horse. Whereas, before Oblivion, that should have been just a free update or whatever, or you could have come with the disc when you buy the game, but not anymore. Now you have to nickel and dime everything. So it's the same kind of stuff, like, and gaming has been, I said that many times, that gaming has been going downhill long before wokeness was a thing, because, wokeness started, let's say, 2000. Let's be magnanimous or something, say 2013 already, before GG in 2014. Let's say that's when wokeness really started. But I was already, like, at least 5 years before that. I could sense, like, the gaming industry was spiritually dead, and certainly the horse armor stuff was one symptom of it. So once you're spiritually dead, it's easier for these spiritual parasites to take over. So, eternal vigilance is the price we pay for freedom. That's a saying. So yeah, it's very tiresome when people say, like, woke is dead and now we are, just, it's gonna be all uphill or downhill from here, and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's, you really have to. And oh yeah, another, like, the lesson from Mr. Metaker, from, or as he was, internet aristocrat back then. Um, he said that, the reason Gamergate failed was the people, they stopped attacking. He said that it was easy, that the people should have just kept attacking and attacking the enemy, but they stopped, and they're trying to, like, act defensive. It's like, oh, we don't want to go too far, like, we won't be any better than our enemies. But it's like, your enemies, like the Sam Hyde quote goes, that, they want you dead and your children raped, and they think it's funny. So it's not like, with people like that, these people, those people should be in an oubliette. So you cannot just compromise with them. And that's my bottom line for today. So I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna go to sleep soon. Bye bye.